started to understand the power of real estate and what investing in real estate could do for us and for our families, coincide with a lot of the things that we wanted within our own personal lives. That time and geographic flexibility, financial freedom that was potentially something we could attain in the next few years.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to Invested and Rested. We are so excited you're here and to hear about our conversation today with Amanda Fornelli.
It was so great talking with Amanda. She has such a cool story to share, from a low point in her life where she lost her job to trying out real estate and now becoming a full-time real estate investor, which is amazing. And she shared with us in this episode, you're going to want to listen to it. She's got some secret sauce on how to find deals in any market.
All right, let's chat with Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. Thank you so much for being on our podcast today. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Awesome. So let's get started. And I'm curious a little bit about your life before real estate. Tell us about what you were doing and what got you interested in real estate.
Real estate, believe it or not, for those of you that don't know me, is very relatively recent. I used to work in corporate America for 10 years. I was primarily doing I was working mostly in the energy industry. I was an engineer and an MBA, and I was doing a lot of operations and project management. And then most recently working in the renewable energy space. So nothing really related to what I'm doing now, investing in real estate full time. So I did that for 10 years. And it's what brought me into real estate is something kind of life-changing. I got laid off by my most recent company in 2019, which then prompted me to look at other careers and led me to what I do now, which again is invest in real estate full time with my husband and my brother.
That's so great. I feel like at the time, when you're getting laid off, it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the worst thing. I can't imagine not having a paycheck. And that is what leads to thinking outside of the box a little bit and trying something new. Did you feel like real estate was something that you always wanted to do on the sidelines, or did you find it more out of, I need money and I heard that you can make money in real estate?
It's funny. I didn't have any interest in real estate at the time or prior to that. Getting laid off was definitely life-changing, and it's one of those scary moments where you don't know what's coming next. But real estate for me, it just happened by chance, and I'm glad that it did. But what happened was I got laid off in that summer of 2019. And I knew that I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I actually turned down a couple of offers to work for another company in the same industry. And I started to consider different options. I knew I always wanted to start a business. And I was scrolling through Instagram and I came across a real estate education ad on Instagram. And of course, I dragged my brother to this 2-hour free workshop. And one thing led to another. We ended up buying a really expensive real estate education program. And we went all into real estate investing. So that was in late 2019. And, we've been investing in real estate ever since and building our portfolio as quickly as possible.
Was your brother really on board then too, to go to the real estate event and buy into the program?
He was definitely intrigued. Who's not intrigued by real estate in some sense, right? We knew at some point we wanted to invest in real estate. We didn't know at the time we wanted to make a career out of it. So yeah, he was definitely open. And at these real estate events, they tell you everything you want to hear. It just like music to your ears, especially when you go through a life-changing event like a layoff, right? So all the things that they said really spoke to us. They resonated with us, and we started to understand the power of real estate and what investing in real estate could do for us and for our families, and really coincide with a lot of the things that we wanted within our own personal lives. That time and geographic flexibility, that freedom, the financial freedom that was potentially something we could attain in the next few years.
Imagine this. You're surrounded by a small group of women in a beautiful home, eating healthy food, and of course, some chocolate. The women have an entrepreneurial spirit like you. They want to grow, they want to expand their minds, and they want to make their life dreams come true by investing in real estate.
Does it sound like something you might want to do? I know that's where I want to be. And we are in the midst of planning our 2025 retreat. We're only taking a small handful of women. So if it sounds like something you might be interested, head on over to investedandrested.com, get on our email list, and you will be the first to know and have the opportunity to join us next year.
Skip ahead for one quick second. Do you feel like that's what real estate did for you, is like help you accomplish your dreams and have everything that was, I don't want to say essentially promised to you, but like everything that you thought it could be?
Well, I will say real estate, even till this day, is still very, very hard. And I feel like we just get better at it over time. Real estate is, I feel like, always throwing you curveballs. It's a very interesting industry, right? It's not stress free, but I do feel like we got better at it. We're not financially free yet, but we're well on our way to that. And I know that if we keep putting our heads down and working hard to continue to build our portfolio and our business, that we will attain that financial freedom one day, which for us is having the flexibility to work only if we want to, and not out of necessity. But I truly believe if it's something that we love doing, we'll work we'll work anyway because we enjoy it. But I love the flexibility of knowing that I can take the day off and be with our daughter or go on a short trip somewhere and not have to worry. So those are the things that I think about when we are working towards financial freedom, is having that flexibility to do what we want whenever we want. And we love to go on adventures. I joke around about this all the time, but my husband and I try to make so much more money so we can go sleep in the dirt and go camping, go on adventure, rent an RV. So those are the things that we love to do. And I know that having that financial freedom through real estate investing will allow that one day.
That's so cool. What was your first investment?
Our first deal was a fix and flip in Joshua Tree. So
Okay.
kind of a cool strategy with how we came across this deal. We were still very, very green and looking for deal flow. It was the first year of COVID. It was crazy competitive. And I sent out an email to my email list asking if anyone was selling their property. An old coworker of mine was letting us know that she wanted to sell her rental property in Joshua Tree, which we had never touched that market ever before. But we looked at it, we ran the numbers, and it made sense. So we went for it. We got that deal. We had not learned how to raise money yet. We got that deal on seller finance through my friend, and then we just brought in the funds for the renovation, and we flipped the property in 3 months. And we
Wow.
made like over a
Wow,
six-figure
that's pretty fast.
a profit. Yeah, it was really fast. It was a cosmetic fixer, and we cleared like a six-figure profit in 3 months, which was very, very eye-opening for us.
Wow. That's a good way to start.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Start with a bang.
Yeah, especially again in the middle of COVID, things were really competitive. There was a lot of uncertainty, but obviously there was a high demand because of such low rates. There was a really high demand for investment properties in that part of the desert.
So you've had an awesome first deal, making over 6 figures, which is absolutely incredible. And I'm sure that was very eye-opening and made you really hungry for the next deal.
Yes, absolutely. We figured it out, and we wanted to do as many deals as possible after that. So we were all in.
So after that first deal, what did you decide to do next? Did you continue with the flips?
We had fallen into that market by chance. We were actually looking at doing fix and flip in the Los Angeles area where we were born and raised, in our backyard. But after seeing how this deal panned out, we were so intrigued by this market. We're like, hey, there's something going on here, and I think we need to be a part of it. So we started to build a team out there and invest a lot more in marketing out there. And we just pretty much built an entire fix and flip business out in the Joshua Tree and surrounding areas. And then we realized over time that all of these properties that we were selling were going like above asking, a very quick close. And we were asking ourselves, who's buying these properties? And it turns out all these Airbnb investors were flooding the market. And we asked ourselves, well, hey, shouldn't we keep some of these properties for ourselves? And that's when we started to burst some of those. We'd flip them, we cashed out, refied on them, and then we turned them into the Airbnbs. And we sold a few, and then we kept 4 in our portfolio in the Joshua Tree area. So that's how we started our rental portfolio, is because of the fix and flips that we were doing. We decided to keep some of them with us and then sell off the rest.
Cool. And are those all short-term rentals right now, or a mixture of long-term, short-term?
Correct. They're short-term rentals. Yeah. So
Oh,
they're on Airbnb and all the other platforms, booking.com, VRBO.
cool. All right. And then what happened? What happened after that?
So we got our first taste of hospitality, which for
Okay.
those of you that are doing hospitality understand that this is a very unique industry. It's not passive in any way. Definitely didn't realize how active it was, but it's very, very interesting. And because of our short-term rental journey, we ended up meeting our business partners now on our boutique hotel. They came to us one day and they said, "We really love what you've been able to execute on in terms of the design and construction on your short term rentals in the desert. We're looking at potentially acquiring a 10 key boutique hotel in downtown Palm Springs. Would you like to partner?" And that's how we got into our boutique hotel. It's a 10 key in downtown Palm Springs. It's a really gorgeous property called Yara Palm Springs. It's now been operating just over a year, but we had, just about like 10 months of construction prior to that. That's how we ended up in boutique hotels, which again was not the intention. It just our journey sort of led us in that direction. But still to this day, we continue to do fix and flip back in the Los Angeles area. We're maintaining our short-term rental portfolio. And then my husband and I are now looking out of state for more of the long-term rental strategy.
Oh, interesting. So, when it comes to the hotel, can you tell us a little bit about what your role is? Like, do you do any sort of management, or is everything off your plate and you're just the owner with your partners? How does that work?
So there are a few partners. My team, which again is my brother and my husband, we partnered with another husband wife couple. They're amazing. So the arrangement was we were going to handle all of the acquisition, the design, and construction. So get it all the way to the point of launch, and then they would take over the property management because they have a strong hospitality management background. They had managed a big portfolio of short-term rentals prior to that. So that was the goal. We made sure to get it up and running, and then they were going to take it over. So at this point, our team is pretty hands off. Our business partners do an incredible job of managing the hotel. However, we have a full hotel staff, hotel managers, assistant managers. We have our maintenance, our cleaners. So we have a full staff on site. Our partners are the property managers, and then we also support on the asset management side a little bit. But for the most part, yes, pretty hands off for our part.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
you get to reap the benefits without having to do the day-to-day hospitality.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a super heavy lift in the beginning acquiring. This was our first commercial property we had acquired, so we raised a lot of money for it. The design and construction was a ton of work, and yeah, so it was really more on the front side of things. But yeah, now we're more in the passive role, and we meet a couple times a month just to check on the property and see how everything's doing. But yeah, it's a really fantastic property. Very, very proud of it. I thought being a boutique hotel owner was several years out, but this opportunity came up and we couldn't say no.
That's so cool. I've seen the Instagram. It's amazing and I want to stay
Thank
there.
you.
So,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Please come stay with us. We would love
I
to have
will.
you.
Rihanna and I are covered in Palm Springs
We could do a live
soon.
recording.
Yeah, seriously. Round two.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so now you have the boutique hotel, and what does your day to day look like at this moment? Because you said you're a full time real estate investor with your brother and your husband. So, what does day to day look like? Are you running the Airbnbs? Are you just searching constantly for new properties? What is that
Yeah.
like?
Our day to day is just so different. I'm sure a lot of other full time real estate investors can agree with that. Everything, there's no like standard schedule. However, we historically have broken up the business in a few different ways. Marketing and lead generation is my husband, David. I
Mhm.
handle all of the acquisitions and the finance, and then my brother handles all the project management and sales. So we all are very, very, we're all very have distinct roles and responsibilities just to make sure that the business is running as efficiently as possible. So right now we're actually winding down some of the operations on the fix and flip in Los Angeles. We're working on offloading the projects that are now coming to completion. But now we're kind of shifting strategies and creating a new system around out of state rentals. So my husband and I are going to start looking at out of state in markets that are much, much cheaper than the greater Los Angeles area. And so we're creating a new system and marketing plan around that. So things are looking a little bit different right now, but same kind of idea. My husband would handle the marketing, the lead generation. I would manage the acquisitions and then raising any capital required to close on that deal.
Gotcha. And so what does the marketing entail? Are you sending out flyers? Are you cold calling? Or sorry, your husband.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the market. So every market and every investment strategy requires different types of marketing. So for example, in Joshua Tree, we did really heavy marketing. We did a little bit of MLS, but we did really heavy direct mail marketing, which was very, very successful in a small rural town. Los Angeles, we're doing all MLS and agent campaigns. And then out of state, we're looking at doing a lot of MLS and then maybe some off market, like direct mail campaigns or maybe text messaging. But for the most part, we're going to be doing a lot of MLS. Our team has developed a really great system and strategy to be successful on the MLS despite a ton of competition, even in a place like Los Angeles. So we've kind of figured that out, and I feel like we're able to be successful in any market using the MLS, which is incredible because it's free marketing.
Yeah, seriously. Do you have any tricks that you want to share with us, or are they
Absolutely.
top
No,
secret?
yeah, not at all. Someone asked me the other day, "Hey, what's your secret sauce?" And honestly, there's no secret sauce. The two most important things to being successful on the MLS is volume and systems. So if you have the volume, if you're putting out several offers a week, you just from the stance of probability, you're going to get a deal under contract. The other thing is systems. You need to make sure that you have a process in place so that you're able to hit the volume or make those several offers a week. Because otherwise, if you have too many bottlenecks or you're taking too long to get one offer out the door, you're not going to see a lot of results. So you want to create a system with very distinct roles and responsibilities for all your team members to get the offers out and then just get as many offers out as possible. So that's really what it comes down to. MLS is a volume game and there's a ton of leads on there. So there should never really be a reason why you're running out of properties to make offers on.
That's so cool. And are you specifically looking in one area, or are there a couple different areas that you're looking at?
Our buy box is a list of a few different zip codes. We primarily focus for the fix and flip side. We focus historically on Northeast Los Angeles because those are the zip codes that we grew up in, that we know that are still hot neighborhoods that have high list to sales price ratios. So those are the primary, and then we have some secondary zip codes. But this is part of your system, is creating a list of zip codes that you're looking for, and it's not just like anything and everything that comes your way. You have a very, very targeted marketing campaign towards those zip codes. So for us, it is a very specific pocket or set of pockets or neighborhoods in the Northeast Los Angeles area.
Yeah. So I'm surprised that you're still successful with flips in this market. Have you changed your strategy slightly with the flips since, you started in 2019? Now we're in a much different interest rate. There's less inventory. There's less buyers out there. What's kind of changed in your way of flipping that's allowed you to continue to be successful?
A lot has changed. So with fix and flip, the more deals you do, you get a lot more refined in your underwriting and in your approach. We look at a few things now with this very high interest rate market. We talked about those zip codes, right? So we look up zip codes and we update the market research every single month. So things that we track are median list price, median sold price, days on market. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's or a balanced market? The other thing that I mentioned earlier that's a really good indicator of whether or not there's still turnover in this neighborhood is the list to sales price ratio. How much is the average property selling over asking, or is it selling under? A lot of these are indicators of a good market, despite the economic environment that we're in. So there are neighborhoods that are still selling in a few weeks, or selling over asking because it's such a hot neighborhood. And maybe it's still in that median price range that people are looking for, which, by the way, is a lot higher now in Los Angeles. So there are some indicators that or market research indicators that will help you when you're deciding on where to invest in fix and flip right now, because of the challenges. Not all markets are going to have this, right? So you got to keep an eye on these market indicators. And I would look at them maybe twice a month or even on a monthly basis to make sure that you're coming out successful. In addition to more conservative underwriting, you want to make sure that your sales comps are a little bit tighter, maybe in the last 3 months, and definitely within like a half mile to a mile range. So there are a few things that you can do, and then also create a little bit more margin wherever you can. But there's some things you can't control. And you're just going to have to just do your best to navigate the challenges. It's tough right now, for sure. So this is why you have to implement a lot of the things that I just recommended.
Yeah, that makes sense. And not be emotional about it. It's a numbers thing. There's a buy box. You don't
Yeah,
go out of that buy box and
correct. Rely
stick.
on your data. Just stick to the
Yeah,
data. If you stick to the data, you can have more control over your deal.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, it sounds like you work with partners. So, if you are doing multiple things at once, how have you created those relationships with people that want to partner with you on your deals?
Partnering for us has been an interesting journey. We've had, I'm very transparent and open. We've had partnerships that have gone great and some that have gone not so great. And I think the one thing that we learn from everything is that we're more inclined to work with or partner with people that we already know, because you already have that underlying trust, a little bit of understanding of that person's capability. So that's one of our sort of like our thresholds at this point. Like, how long have we known this person? Do we know them? We're not as excited to just partner with anyone that we really don't know yet because of some experiences that we had in the past. So that's really, really important for us, when concerning a new partner. And we're just a little bit more selective now, but that's okay because I think it's just gonna increase our chances for success and also having a better deal. You can get a really great deal but have a bad partnership and the deal can go south, right? So it's going to come down to people partnering with people that have complementary skills but also share the same values and mission that you do, because not everyone operates the same. And in real estate investing, some people can they can be, I guess, distracted by the wrong things. I definitely want to put people first always, so I want to partner with people who share that same vision for their business. Hopefully that answered your question, but I think partnering is great. It's extremely powerful, especially to grow your portfolio at a much faster at a much faster rate and just scale so much
Mhm.
faster.
And when
Yeah.
you partner with people, is it mostly equity sharing or are you mostly borrowing money like as a private money lender?
It's a combination. We do a lot of equity partnerships, but we historically have done a ton of private money lending. We were able to grow and scale a lot of our business, especially the fix and flip side, because of private money lender partnership, or I should say they're partnerships, but those are strictly debt type of situations. So you borrow against the property, and you just pay them an annualized interest rate. So we've always worked with private money lenders, which I fear are a little bit different than an equity partner, right? They're more of the silent investor. They're not really so involved in the deal. So we do a little bit of both, but we do private money quite a bit.
Cool. That's awesome that you have a combination of both. And in the private money lenders, do you feel the same way about them as partners? Like you really want to know them well, or are you feeling like I can know them just a little bit since it's just more of a bank situation?
Private money lending is rapport-based lending. So it requires there to be some sort of relationship prior to investing with one another. So I always take the time to get to know our private money lenders, but also our mentor Amy Majuri, which we talked about earlier. She's
Yeah.
incredible. She always preaches to us, don't don't invest with people that you don't know, like, and trust. So
Mm.
if you feel like you're not vibing with someone, if you feel like they're being a bully, or if they're not making sense for your business, move on. There are more private money lenders out there. They actually need us more than we need them. They need qualified investors to put their hard-earned money to work with. And there are just so many few of us that can actually put their money to work like that. So I would say be very, very selective. Don't work with someone that you feel is not a good partnership, or a person that you're going to enjoy working with on a deal. We're really big on that as well.
Have you ever said no to someone?
I have actually. I would say it was maybe last year. I was speaking to a prospective private money lender, and we were going through our presentation, and he was not paying attention. He was distracted. He was totally blowing me off. And I just didn't feel the connection. And at the very end, he emailed me. He's like, "Okay, sounds great. Just send me your deals." And I responded and I said, "You know what? I really appreciate your time, but based on how our conversation went, I don't think that you're a good fit for our program. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time anyway." So I don't think he expected that, because people are so quick to want to accept funds for their deals. Understandably, people need funds, but I don't want to work with someone like that, someone who's just blowing me off. And it was really empowering to be able to say no to someone. And when you've built systems, or built enough of your credibility to have a list of lenders like that, to be able to turn someone down, is a really great place to be in your business. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, that's amazing, because the worst thing you want is to feel desperate and take somebody even though it doesn't feel right, and
Correct.
then be stuck with them.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. I had a partnership go south before the finish line, and Rihanna told me, she's like, it's better to date than to get married and then have to get a divorce later.
Totally, totally. My husband DJ and I, we just did a short webinar on partnerships, because you probably will agree, a lot of early or newbie investors are so excited to partner with just anyone and everyone, because they want to get their first deal done, but they don't take the time to understand the partnership, understand if there are complementary skills, understand what the risks are, or talk about the what ifs. So we had a short presentation to a group of investors to teach them what are the things that you're going to look for when partnering with someone. What is the checklist of items that you want to ask one another? You need to ask each other. It's almost like a marriage, right? You want to ask each other these hard questions. And most importantly is, who are you partnering with, and are your skills complementary? I don't want to be partnering with someone that has the same skills that we do, because then we have a hole in our business. We have a gap that we need to fill. So there are a few things that I recommend a lot of people consider before getting into their first partnership, because in real estate, we're talking about high stakes, right? We're talking about potential losses, but also potential gains. So these are important things to consider, and not just jump right into a partnership right away. We've all done it. We've all done it at some point, or considered it. But I think this is something that comes with a little bit more experience. You really understand what it takes to get into a true partnership that is going to be beneficial for everybody and for the deal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Something that we talk a lot about on here is how we take care of ourselves during while working in kind of a stressful environment like real estate. And I'm curious to hear how you take care of yourself while working in real estate, and dealing with the ups and downs that comes with it.
Yeah, I appreciate that question a lot. I feel like we don't talk about those things enough. So I appreciate you putting out a platform that puts this on, on highlight for everyone, because it's important that we're considering what we're doing for ourselves in such a difficult industry. This was never more I was never more aware of it until I had my daughter, our first child, in August of last year, because I've always been kind of a workaholic, just work, 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 work. And then I work till I burn out, and then I need to take time off, because I can't do anything. I'm sure we've all reached that at some point. But having our daughter really painted a different picture for me on how I need to separate and make time for self-care, because that self-care means that I'm present for my daughter and I'm there for her in the best way possible. When we had our child in August of 2023, we hired out for the first time, which is, in my opinion, part of the self-care, because by being able to hire out someone under me, I was able to detach from the business, but still have the business running and not feel guilty for it and not feel guilty for spending that time with my daughter. So, one, the self care is, are we, so asking yourself, if you're growing your business, are you going to be growing it at a pace that's sustainable, or are you going to plan to hire out below you so that you're not taking more time away from your family? Because the more you grow, you're going to be busier and busier. So that's number one for us. But on the day to day, the things that I do to implement self care is, I schedule out my workouts. For example, I kind of fell off the last couple of weeks, but this week, for example, was so intentional. Like, okay, these are the days that I'm going to do this workout. And at least for my husband and I, the workout time for us is, we're in our own zone. We're listening to our music. We're not thinking of anything, and we're just enjoying ourselves in that moment. That's important for us. We love
Mhm.
travel too. We don't travel as much recently, but we plan to do it again once our daughter's a little bit older. But
Yeah.
those are, I think, some of the most important things that have contributed to my self care in such a demanding industry.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, outsourcing is one of those things where it is, it doesn't seem like self-care because it's paying someone to work for you, but it's buying your time back
Yeah,
essentially.
a lot of women ask me this, and a lot of women, they feel so guilty because they have a lot of them, for example, who have kids and they want to get into. They're like, how do we schedule self care? But I have just so much to do, and really, like, systems are going to buy your time back, and then also possibly outsourcing. My husband and I are really, really big on systems. So by doing those two things, you can just be so much more efficient in your business and not feel more stressed out with the bigger your portfolio gets. Those two things, if you can implement in your business, you can then go do a lot of those things that you want to with your free time.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, it's not something that comes naturally to me, systems, but I saw I think you had a workshop on it recently, right?
We did. We had one last week. It was our first workshop. A lot of people were coming to us asking us, how do we implement systems into our business to buy some of our time back? And so
Yeah.
we decided to put a room together and teach people about it. And we enjoy it. We think it's extremely powerful if you're able to implement it into your business.
Yeah, no, I think it is. I've been trying to do it in my life, and like something so stupid is like moving something closer to where I need it. I forget, I can't think of what it was right now, but I was like, why hasn't this always been in this drawer? That would have been so much easier.
It can
Uh,
apply to your whole life for sure. My
yeah,
husband, when we talk about our daughter, he's like, "Can you create a system around that? Like, what do we do? Put it on a schedule, right?"
yeah.
So, that, yes, it can be applied to even your personal life. Which, again, the less time you waste on the little things, the more time you can spend on the things that matter.
And the decision fatigue that comes with it too, of just
Yes,
like thinking about these things. There's so many decisions you have to make in a day. So if you can reduce a few by having some systems, I think
I agree.
that's super important. That's really cool. Well, Rhiannon and I'll need to come to the next one. We're not so great at the systems.
We'd love to help. We would love to help you.
Yeah. Sometimes I say we're a little too similar, but we'll hire someone out one day that's good at
Yes,
that.
why not? Just outsource it.
For sure. Well, Amanda, what are you up to now? Like what is the next big project for you?
Well, a couple things. So I mentioned earlier, we're looking at doing some out-of-state investing. We've historically invested a lot in California, very expensive, very competitive, very high stake, and we're looking to just diversify our portfolio a little bit. We're heavily in hospitality, so we want to get into some more long-term stuff. So out-of-state rentals, long-term, maybe midterm as well. So that's going to be our focus for the next few months, is building a strategy and a business around that. And then also, we really love the education portion of the systems that we just talked about. So we're looking to also grow that a little bit more and help people implement systems in their own business. So those are kind of our two big projects that we're working on right now. Obviously, in addition to just spending a ton of time with our daughter, she's turning a year in next month. So time is flying by, and we're just trying to spend as much time with her as possible.
That's amazing. That first year is such a big milestone.
Oh,
You did it.
totally. As someone told me, the first birthday is not only a milestone for the baby, but it's for the parents as well. Like, hey, you made
Oh,
it through your first year.
you made it. You kept the baby alive. Like,
Yes, yes. So we're looking forward to celebrating that win as well because it was tough. I'm sure you know it's tough in the first year, especially while running a business. So we're gonna pat ourselves on the back as well.
heck yeah, as you should. Well, thank you so much for everything you've shared. Is there a way for people listening to connect with you? Is there anything they should look out for in the next couple months in regards to your workshops?
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. You can connect with me on Instagram. My handle is _Amanda Fornelli _. And I post a lot on there. People connect with me on there as well. We are going to be hosting another systems workshop. I'm thinking in September. So just stay tuned for the announcement on that. We'd love to have you. It's going to be in the Los Angeles area. But other than that, please reach out and say hello. I love connecting with new people. And I really appreciate the time on here. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Amanda. We really enjoyed having you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, friends. That's the episode for today. We so appreciate you being here with us and would love if you could leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts.
And don't forget to subscribe for future episodes and check the show notes to sign up for the waitlist for our retreats and future coaching programs. Stay rested, friends, and talk soon.